used to think, when I was in college in the 1980s, I used to think that libertarianism was a timeless and eternal thing. It was just these absolute truths for all time, all places, and all times. And I've now come to think that it can be there's certain contexts where it's more true or less true. And so if you have incredibly well-functioning government, political institutions, there's less of a need for libertarianism. So, in the 1950s or 1960s, when the state of California had first-rate public schools across the board, and if you said, well, the government can't do anything, the public schools can't work, there might have been problems with them, but that argument would have gotten a lot less traction than it would today in 2018. Or in the military context, we had the atom bomb, we had the Manhattan Project, we had the Apollo space program in the 1960s, where you got a man on the moon. And so if you said the government can't do anything, that felt somewhat wrong. Now I think the thing, if we were honest, and this is always the somewhat disturbing thing, is that our government works much less well than it used to. It started probably failing in the 1970s in a serious way. I mean, maybe it was really building up in various ways, but and libertarianism, the Libertarian Party in the U.S. started in the early 70s, and it sort of makes sense because there was more of an opening, and so it was more true then than it had been before. And I would argue that it is much more true in 2018 than it was 30 years ago.